Alright, so here's a little video of Apec water. So it's a reverse osmosis, 3 filters below. I don't know what those are on top, we'll figure it out here. So first I turn the water off at the back where that red line goes in, because that red line comes in behind here and up. And then that black one looks like the drain line or overflow that goes over to the vent side. And then that yellow one there comes over, around, underneath, and on top of that tank. So I turn that off. So far I've turned the red line off, that valve there, and this valve here, opened up the spigot, and it's dry. So here's the filter kit. I'm going to get the instructions out and I will be back. Alright, so I just wanted to kind of throw into this. I need to fix that. But there's the HVAC filter. I changed it today. And out here where we live, you don't want to get the real expensive ones, just the free-flowing filters, and change them once a month. And the arrow goes that direction, goes up, because this draws air in from the house and into the furnace. So I changed that. I need to kind of fix that. I don't know why that's bent down like that, but I'll fix that here in a minute. Go back here to the back. Here's the main water filter system. I'm going to go ahead and change that. And let me see. If I remember correctly, I'm going to turn that one off. And I'm going to turn that one off. And then I'm going to turn this lid. I filled the salt up, so I'm going to turn this lid upside down. And that red button, I'm going to push that to relieve the pressure before I take this off. And of course, there's the rubber, and then there's the filter. And somewhere here, oh, there it is the wrench. And that just goes on there like that. Okay. So I'm going to pause it for now. And then I'll be back. I'll do this filter first. I change it about every month or two when it turns black like that. I just feel better about changing it. It's been about 2 months. It's January, the first week in January, so November, December, I've let it go about 60 days. That's probably a little bit too long, but gonna change that one. And then I'm gonna go back into the kitchen and change the filters for the reverse osmosis. So I'll be right back. All right, I just thought of something. I wanted to just kind of make a note. If I post this up on YouTube for my other neighbors who aren't familiar with these systems, do not, the water you drain out of that filter right there, do not throw that out in your backyard on the ground. It's like black water. Nothing will grow there. So if you want to save it and put it along your fence line or someplace where you got a weed problem, this stuff will do it. And it's, you know, I don't know why, but if you look right out there, we're just right where the dog is, we haven't been able to get anything to grow there because you can see the white. I don't know if you can see it from here. Let me go up here. That white is the salt that when we moved in, the builder came in and says, oh, we'll change that filter, and he threw the water out back. Nothing has been able to grow there since. So don't do that. I think I'm going to save mine in a 5-gallon bucket and use it for weed control. I'm kind of skeptical about putting it down in the septic system, so I'm not going to do that either. But just a note, you can do what you want with it, but that's my recommendation. Okay, hold on, I'll be back. All right, I just wanted you to see, I just put that water in a gallon jug. It fills up about half gallon. The filter's off. It's down here. You can see how black that thing is. So I'm going to take that outside, throw it away, and I'm going to clean out that filter container, take that water outside and put it in the garage, and I'll be back. All right, here's the filters I got. 4.5 by 10, 5 micron. And these are going into that, which is the main water system. It's not the reverse osmosis. So let me get the packaging off of that. I'm going to put it in there. It's got the little hole you got to get down on that little mount there, and I'll be back. All right, so that just kind of fits on there loosely. You know, it's not like you have to push it down or anything, but you can see it's seated down there. And then underneath here, there's another little nipple that you have to make sure it gets on there. So I'm gonna need both hands for this, so I'll cut it off here and be back. All right, I'm gonna try and do this one-handed. We'll let that ring. When you tighten this back on, do not get it too tight or it'll be a bear to get off. So I just snug it up, and then I'm gonna slowly turn the water back on until this thing starts filling up and it builds pressure. You don't want to go all the way on at one time. This one you can. I went ahead and it's all the way on. Now it's filling up. We need to build pressure in the lines. If you just crack it open, these plastic lines will probably break. I don't know. I'm not risking that, so. Yeah, go ahead and start cracking it open. And it's got to fill all the lines back up in the house, because typically I'll open a couple faucets to draw the pressure off. So now it's quieting down. I can just go ahead and open it up. Looking for leaks. Dry everything off here. And I don't see anything leaking, but I'll come back and check it here after a while just to make sure. Just dry everything off so it's nice and dry. And nothing you can do about this corrosion on these caps, but just dry everything off, come back and check it. I'm gonna change my sticker, and we're done with this part. And now we'll move on to the reverse osmosis. Be back in a minute. All right, so my wife ordered this, and I don't know if she got this at Amazon, or I'm sure you can get it on Amazon, but this is what she ordered. And this thing's not part of it. So that's the plastic bag it came in. There's the cartridges and the filters that we got. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I guess. And then here are the directions we got. So you should get directions with your filter pack. I'll update this after I talk to the wife and find out where she got it, but I guess you can always use these too. It's got two sides, and it looks like it's pretty helpful. So I'm going to put everything down, and of course, I don't know if you notice, my wrenches are right down there at the bottom. There's two different wrenches for the two different sizes. So once I get it taken apart and read the instructions a little bit, I'll be back. All right, just a quick note after reading the instructions. Stage 1, and then stage 2 and 3 are the same filter. They're the carbon filters. So 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter which one of those. So in the instructions, it said if you have a problem breaking these loose, you can slide it off. I guess you would detach all the small hoses, the yellow, the black, and the red one. Detach those, and I think they're just like a little press fit. You push this little button down, and it will release it, and you could take this whole unit off, take it out in the garage, and that way you got better leverage on getting those canisters off. But I'm going to try it right here in the cabinet and see what happens, and I'll be back. Okay, so here's the issue. That wrench won't fit behind there, but if you just pull it out a little bit, this thing has some give, so you can get these and then you can do it by hand. So just wanted to point that out. Alright, so I got the first filter out. You can see it's a little brown, so it's picking up some minerals and shit. And there's the number 1 cartridge that came out of. This is the second cartridge. This is one of the carbon cartridges. You can see it's got this rubber deal on top. It looks a little disfigured, but that's the way that one goes in, with that rubber seal to the top, which would be there. That one, it doesn't matter. It'll go in either way, up or down, no big deal. But these have to go in with that gasket to the top, or I guess it doesn't matter. It looks like they'll go in either way either. So there's not a top or a bottom, apparently. Okay. All right, just for comparison, there's the old ones in the sink, and there's the new ones. So you can see, I don't know if that one on the right's just wet, but you can see the one that number 1 stage is obviously brown. So these 3 filters, stage 1, 2, and 3, they say to replace every 6 to 12 months. And for that one right there, that's about 18 months. So this will be the first time I'm changing these. And then the other pre-stage filters under there, those 2, they say you can do those every 2 to 3 years. So there you go. And again, just like in the other water system, in the main water filter system, it's got that little nipple there at the bottom, so when you put that in, just make sure it sits on that little nipple. Alright, so I just made sure all the black gasket rings on those canisters were clean and no dirt or anything. They're pretty good. So I cleaned up all the water underneath. So now I need to do, and I just hand tighten these for, if you're a guy, just get them as tight as you can by hand. I don't think I'd put that wrench on them and tighten them. I think you're just asking for trouble if you do. So I'm going to go ahead and recharge the system with water and get my flashlight and then check for leaks. And I think as far as the stage 4 and stage 5, which are these 2 up here, I think I'm going to hold off. I think it says on that stage filter should be changed every 2 to 3 years. So I'm going to wait 6 months, maybe a year, before I change those 2 top cartridges. And I guess at that point, I think that's pretty straightforward. But I think at this point, if this video kind of helped you out, I mean, it looks like a daunting task. It wasn't that bad. Probably the hardest part is if you have to break those canisters off. It might be a little harder for a woman to do it, but if you need to, like I said, you can pop these off, and they're just like, I think you just push this in, it'll release. And same there, and the same on the red one. And you can take that whole thing out of the cabinet, put it on a table, and have a little bit more leverage. So I think that's it for this video. I'll put it up on YouTube, and maybe it'll help somebody, maybe not. The trolls will probably tear me up. So, all right, that's it. Bye.